Welcome to Salcedo Paranormal. Today I am covering paranormal news. As always, you can find all episodes of the show along with links to social media and other ways to contact me at the podcast page. And that is salcedoparanormal.podbean.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.podbean.com. Always happy to hear from you all, whether you have comments or questions or topic suggestions or stories of paranormal experiences, whether they're your own or from others that you trust. Happy to either read those or have you join me on the show to talk about them. And as always, thank you all for listening, whether you make it to the live streams or you listen on the podcast or YouTube feeds. Also, I'm happy to announce that as of now, every night, on the Troubled Minds radio network, KUAP Digital Broadcasting, at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, you will be able to hear 2 episodes of my show. Pre-recorded, it's not live, but it is a live broadcast of those recordings of those shows. So, I want to thank Michael Strange again for making that possible, and yeah, just really honored to be part of that whole project and community. And if you'd like to support the podcast, there are different ways to do that. Of course, you can always share it with others that you think will like it. And also, there are books that I've written, paranormal fiction and nonfiction, that you can find on Amazon. And then also, if you check on my podcast page or in the Discord, you can find links to the various ways to donate to the podcast to help make up for, or to cover costs for equipment and research materials. So help is never expected, but always appreciated. So that's all I have to say on that. Those links are also always in each of the episode links, the description, I should say, for each podcast episode. So I think that takes care of everything as far as that goes. And so now I can get to the stories. We'll cover as many of these as we can today. I've already put them all in the chat channel here, the links that we'll cover. And whatever we don't get through today, we'll get through on the next news show. So moving on to those links. Let's see here. Just gotta find... Alright, there it is. So these first couple of links are leftovers, again, from the last news show. And this first one is from liverpoolecho.co.uk. And it says, ghost hunters visit one of Liverpool's most haunted buildings. And it mentions that the old Griffin Hotel is the topic of this article here. Let me see here. So paranormal investigators explored this hotel. It's located on Liverpool's Dockland area. I'm not sure what that means because I don't know the area. This hotel was used to be a popular place in the area that has also played a historically significant part in the area as well. It's been used for various things over the years, and it's thought to be over 150 years old. It's also become a magnet for people that, or for basically paranormal activity to start happening. So the people that want to check it out, their names are Chris and Adam, first names. And this hotel, let me see here. Chris said that it's not a functioning place anymore, but it's being renovated, I think is what I read in here. But either way, it's not functioning as of now. So a lot of things have been taken out, and so there's a lot of empty space in there, but there's still activity. It says it looks much bigger on the inside than it actually is, or than it's bigger on the inside than it actually appears to be on the outside, apparently. And there have been, according to the investigators, they were told there have been deaths there over the years. And now this is something I think is important to mention here. The investigators mentioned that they could feel the positive and negative energy when you're when they're inside there. So so often you hear about a place that is said to be a terrible place to visit, or it's a great place to visit. You don't always hear about places that are sort of have a mixed presence or a mixed feeling about them, and I think that's I would guess that's a more realistic mix of energies there in a lot of places than just the pure negative that you hear so much about in Hollywood and movies and all those things. So let's see here. There are bits and pieces of history and historical material in the building, such as a mural for a local football club. Of course, that's in the U.S. That's called, like, people call that soccer. And so it's being let's see, I already mentioned that. Okay. So there were objects that were said to have moved. Let me see here. So as soon as the investigators walked in, Chris said that they had heard a loud bang that appeared to come from an old heavy picture frame that was apparently had moved a little bit. Also, while in the basement, Adam's walkie-talkie had been lifted up and then dropped onto the table before being dropped onto the floor. So it'd be one thing if it hadn't been lifted, but apparently had been lifted up from where it was at. And someone had actually, so there was basically sound that had been, or evidence, possibly in terms of sound, but also just in feeling, that it hadn't just fallen. So let's see here. Going into, does mention that so many places are being modernized that people don't look into the history of the places. And so it mentions here that that the buildings from hundreds of years ago were made different than they are now, and so much work going into them. Of course, this makes me think of a good friend of the show, Jay in New York. We've talked about this before when he's been on the show, and how much energy that puts into a place. So I think that's a factor as well. And let's see here. Looking for more about the activity there. Apparently, as far as other things that happened, the detection equipment flashed when spirits made themselves known, supposedly. There was a spike in energy in one of the readings they got that suggested, according to the investigators, that they were trying to communicate with them until other things happened. And this is all according to a YouTube video, apparently, which they link in the article. So you can go and check that out for more details. I always like to look into these articles about these places and the activity that's in them and the little bits of history that you can find out through the articles. So I just wanted to bring that up. Let's see here. So that's the first article. Let me move on to the second one here, and then we'll get on to the ones that I found today. Alright. So this one is from KDHLradio.com. And this one says, there's a haunted arcade and skating rink in Minnesota. And if you think about that, just on a, already, there's a lot of energy in places like that, especially arcades, places with all kinds of machines running at all times. Depending on the kind of skating rink it is, there's going to be ice, that's going to be water, there's going to be all kinds of water in the air. But, so I really am glad that this article popped up. It says that this according to folklore, the place is haunted by a ghost named Gilbert, and who used to live in a farmhouse on the property, who passed away after getting trapped in some swamp water, and he never really left, according to the legend, of course. And that is where the rink was built. And so says that he haunts patrons by turning the lights off and on in the arcade area. He can also be heard walking on the roof. That's always an amazing thing to me when you have footsteps on the roof because there's not always an easy way to get up onto the top of a building, the roof of a building. So, of course, in some cases there are, but also mentions that one customer said they saw a face in a vent while they were skating. Funny enough, so I was staying at a sort of it was a school, I don't know if it still is, for blind people years ago, because I'm legally blind, and they would have summer events. So I was staying there one summer for one of these events. Usually they would last 1 or 2 weeks. And they were like just sort of like just activities for people to do that they had low or no vision. And one of the buildings that we stayed in, there was this one it felt like there was energy there besides the people that were staying there. And one of the kids that was there with me at the time, who has limited vision like myself, he said he saw something like that in an event. So that's only the second time I've ever heard of that. But if you think about any kind of advanced in terms of practice or understanding, any kind of spirit or entity that can manipulate size and shape and weight and all those things, they could fit in a ventilation shaft or whatever, and then appear like that. So may seem outrageous at the face of things, but and just at the surface. But if you think about it that way, that is I think that's a possibility. Which is, again, the article mentions that would be frightening. So just I had a note on that because of I haven't heard that too often. Mentions that the strangest report from the place was one night after closing, a song went on over the loudspeaker, and there was no CD in the player, and the system was turned off. So this article says that this defied all odds. Now, I'm going to hope that this is a serious article on a serious news outlet. I don't know, but if it is, then it's really and you hear about this in some places where the paranormal will throw stuff at you that is from popular culture that is about the paranormal. And the reason I say that is the song that was played was, of course, from Ghostbusters. It was the main Ghostbusters song. So let's see here. There's also encounters with the. Let's see here. The ghost that says that the spot that everyone should know about is, well, basically that everyone should know about this apparition or this ghost in the spot, and so that they can hopefully send basically good thoughts and send and wish the spirit peace with it, which I really do like, so that hopefully they can find peace someday. So and in that, I mean, I think they mean move on to whatever comes after being here. Says another person says they possibly encountered the spirit in the one of the restrooms at the time. So that's not so pleasant, possibly. Uh, says there's a few different stories about who Gilbert really is. Some people say that he's an older man, while others say that he was a little boy. So, wouldn't that be odd if there was actually two different spirits there, and everyone was thinking that there was only one? But they mentioned the location of this place, and but yeah, interesting look into haunted places and the stories behind the hauntings, and then also the activity. So, moving on to the articles that I found today. A couple of UFO stories here to start with here, as far as the new material. Let me check on something. Okay, never mind. Thought I had a problem, but looks okay. So, yeah, a couple of UFO stories here. And this first one is from W. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the WWW part. This is from dudleynews.co.uk. So obviously this is in the UK. It says, dog walker shares video of UFO spotted in the sky in Dudley. And this was at a place in the area known as Watson's Close. And the object that was caught in the sky or video was caught by a resident named Graham. I'll leave it at that. So Graham says he spotted this spherical looking object in the night sky while walking his dog on the evening of March 27th. And so let me see here. As he was trying to film it on this phone, it vanished not long after. He says he was looking around, and all of a sudden he saw this object. He was pretty sure it wasn't a star, and it wasn't an airplane. It was moving, he says, too fast for a balloon, and there was no breeze. So, let's see here. Gotta get through some of this. So, there we go. It says that he got his phone out and started filming, and it seemed to be moving. And so he zoomed in on it, and then it just disappeared. So Graham said it's not the first time he's seen something unusual in the sky, but before, when he did get footage, he actually eventually lost the camera. So, but what he saw before was apparently more of a cigar shape. So just a neat sighting there of something odd in the sky. And I have one more of those. This is from edinburghlive.co.uk. Again, I apologize for the pronunciations. This one says, astonished woman catches moment UFO flies over Edinburgh landmark. So it says that Melissa was letting her dog outside to basically do what he had to do his business, and looked up at the sky for basically to just as the dog was taking care of business, like I said. And she noticed this orange light flying in the air nearby. And it was, let me see here, not too far from the capital, from Edinburgh. It says that the pictures were taken around 11:46 p.m. On a Saturday night. And let's see here. So in the images, it says that there's a strange orange orb light that was visible next to a lamppost in the sky. And let's see here. So, let me see. Just gotta skip through some ads here. All right. So Melissa did think at the time that it could have been the pink moon after doing a little bit of research, but they haven't had one of those all week, and also an hour later. Wow, so it was there for an hour. That's a long time. A lot of sightings are just a few seconds or a few minutes. It says the photos are taken. I already said that. I'm going to repeat this off a lot. It says that Melissa has always been open to an open-minded person to things that aren't easily explained. And, of course, her partner, it says, was very skeptical. But says that she hasn't seen anything like it before. So it does have a picture in here. I don't know what to make of it. I'm not great with pictures, so. But it mentions that 2 weeks before this, a couple in the city nearby believed they had captured a UFO above their home. And it says that the area, I think it's West Lothian, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, says it's globally renowned for being a hotspot for sightings. And it, so they mentioned that that is an odd thing there. And it, of course, this last part, I think they're probably joking in a way. It says that it may be the case that the capital is now being targeted by alien visitors. So, but still a neat sighting there, and reports of other sightings. So that's the couple of UFO themed articles that I had for tonight. So let's see here where we're at for time, and let's see how long this. Okay, I think I'm going to have to stop with the articles for now, so I'll just talk for a few minutes here to end the show. Again, I want to thank Michael Strange of Troubled Minds Radio for, well, first of all, just being such a great friend, but also allowing me to have my show on his network. It's really an honor. And I will be including links to that network in all the episode descriptions as well, starting with tonight. So you all can tune into the station and listen to episodes of the show. Again, that it's every night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and that is the hour right before Mike's show comes on. So definitely check it out if you ever want to listen in and don't want to go on YouTube or on the podcast platforms. So, and thank you all for listening as always, wherever you listen. And we're at over 13,000 views on YouTube as of now, which is really amazing, and getting closer and closer to 5,000 downloads of the podcast. We're like less than 40 downloads away, so really grateful for all that. And tomorrow I will be covering, I'll be doing the show that I tried to do last week for a bonus show regarding the Immortals Plantation. I'm going to be doing a series of shows here and there on some of the more well-known haunted places, supposedly haunted places, and that will be the first in that series. Also, there will be a bonus show. It won't be a stream, but there will be a bonus show on Friday that will be uploaded either Friday night or Saturday morning. So I think that takes care of everything. Thank you all for listening. I'll be back tomorrow, again, to talk about the Myrtles Plantation on the next episode of Salcedo Paranormal. Take care, everyone.